Crowe, thanks again for joining us for the Skins injury update. Let's start with the VFL game, and Jackson Merritt was stretchered off. What's the nature of his injury?
Yeah, so Jackson Merritt, late in the VFL game, had an injury to his leg. He's got a broken fibula, which is the bone on his outside of his leg, the smaller bone, and he's also got a tear in his syndesmosis, which is the sheath that runs between the two bones in his leg. We're really lucky. Within 4 hours of the injury, Jackson Merritt had that operated on at the Epworth. He had a plate put over his fibula to protect the bone, and he had a band put around his syndesmosis to again help stabilise that joint. Now, separately, a fibular fracture might take 6 weeks, or like Mitch Brown had, a syndesmosis injury with a band might take 8 weeks. And so it becomes a little bit difficult to predict a prognosis. With a minor miracle and everything going right, it's not impossible Jackson Merritt could play in a VFL Grand Final or an AFL Grand Final, or an AFL prelim potentially. So for that reason, we're keeping the door open. We're going to do everything right early and see if we can progress Jackson's rehab along in a really smart way.
Now, a couple of guys in the AFL, David Myers and Horatio Fantasia, just looked to spend a little bit of time on the bench throughout that game against the Bulldogs. Is there anything to worry about there?
No issue with either of those players. David Myers was fine. He just had some hip tightness from memory. And Horatio had a jarred ankle, which is fine. He trained today and they're both up and running.
How's Josh Green looking for this week?
Yeah, so Josh had a really good session on the weekend. He ran over 12 kilometres, good high-speed running, despite the wind on Saturday. He's ready to go. He's in training this week. He'll be available for a full game, obviously, assuming that he gets through the session in good shape.
Ben McNeice, we know he's had some ongoing problems with the neck and stemming from a whiplash issue. How's he tracking?
Yeah, so Ben has made some progress this last week. He was back running last week. He'll do the warm-up tomorrow. We'll get him some non-contact drills the following week. What we're going to do, though, is while we progress him up, next week we'll get another MRI on his neck. We'll get him to see a specialist and just get the best advice we can on whether or not we then put him back into contact drills and training and have a go at playing again this year, or put him on ice. So bit of a decision to be made late next week.
Okay, and also Mitch Brown has obviously spent some time on the sidelines with 2 ankle injuries. How's his latest one?
Yeah, so Mitch is progressing really quickly. His swelling was down early. He was on his feet earlier than we expected. He's run the Ultra G last week. He's run overground outside on the grass early this week. Look, he's looking like getting involved in training shortly. So while we probably said 8 weeks might have been our best result, it's not impossible that he could play a modified game time at 7, all going well. So Mitch is tracking really nicely. We just got to wait and see how that eventuates over the next few weeks.
Nice one, Crowe. Really appreciate your time, mate.
No worries. Thanks, guys.